Hello, my name is Michael Skaggs. I am doing this passion project on roller coasters for my STEM 2 class. Today I'll be talking about 5 of my favorite coasters across the United States. I'll be discussing why I like them and how they work and the different connections they have. Oftentimes when we talk about roller coasters, we have a few questions in mind. How are they built? What are the different aspects that go into the functioning of a roller coaster? Can we implement math, science, technology, and engineering? How do some roller coasters make these technological feats? And oftentimes we wonder, how is it we don't fall off? Or how does the train not come off the track? These are a few of the questions that I've been wondering and that I've researched and will address in this video. Some people might ask, why do I like roller coasters so much? You know, when I was younger, I wasn't really huge into roller coasters. I was scared when I went to Six Flags Magic Mountain and didn't ride Goliath. However, as I got older, I've loved the thrills. The wind on my face. And they're unique. They're entertaining. I really enjoy the thrills you get just by going up and down, the airtime on some of the coasters, and there's a wide variety of them that I will discuss later on. The first roller coaster I want to talk about is Velocicoaster at Islands of Adventure in Orlando, Florida. This ride is phenomenal because it has 2 launches, one that speeds you up to 50 miles per hour and the other one to 70 miles per hour. This one is really fun because of the top hat that you get some really good airtime on, the zero G stall that also gives you some weightlessness, and then the Heartline roll that is inches to the water. Now, as I discussed, a lot of how this works is the technology of the 2 high-speed launches. This one has to have the technology to be able to launch you quickly and get you through the first part of the ride that uses just gravity to go through the track. The second launch has to get you up to a 155-foot hill, aka the top hat, and then it goes back down, and the rest of that is also through gravity. The potential kinetic forces or energies used is also amazing. Now, in relation to math, engineering, technology, and science, there is a lot related to it. The engineers behind it had to measure the launches and how quickly you had to get up, the technology to make sure we're consistent, that you don't crash into anything, and to make sure the restraints are on properly, the different turns and angles that you need, and lastly, figuring out the gravity, the force, and other parts necessary to make sure that the coasters and the trains are able to get throughout the whole entire track without outside forces. This next clip is just a short video I took of it and added this Jurassic Park song to it and put it on TikTok that I think is really cool and shows how the ride is. Next, I want to talk about Mako from SeaWorld Orlando. This is another phenomenal coaster. I rode this one 12 times in a row when I went because there's no line, but it has also been known as one of the best roller coasters out there, or at least in Orlando. It goes up to 200 feet on a lift hill, and then it drops you down, and you go up multiple different hills, like through gravity, goes up and then back down, then up and back down, comes around, and finishes up like that. Now, this ride just has phenomenal airtime. That's one of the reasons that I really enjoyed it, because of the 200-foot drop, and then the 9 airtime hills, the sharp turns, and then the gravity required with it. The sharp turns also give you a little bit of force on you to make you feel weightlessness. Now, the science associated is measuring the force and gravity needed. You have to understand what force is needed, the gravity that's going to take you, and since the whole entire coaster is through gravity, that's very vital for this one. And you got to figure out the momentum to get up and down a hill. Now, this leads us into the math. You need to know the speed that you need to have to get you back up the hill and how fast you need to go going down in order to push you back up. In addition, the different angles of the drops is necessary, because if it's not a steep enough angle, then you're not going to have enough speed to go back up, and if it's too steep, you might be going too fast. So the calculations for that. The engineering, we had to make sure we had a good lift hill to carry the train up, and then the proper height of each hill. They had to make sure the calculations were correct and that there weren't anything wrong or anything off, because if anything was off, that might affect the force of the roller coaster. Lastly, the technology. The tools and the things needed to keep the wheels on the track and not falling off, which we'll talk about a little bit in another coaster. The restraints needed to keep them locked. As we discussed, one of the problems that we see with roller coasters is how do we not fall off. All the roller coasters have really good technology of restraints that lock into place, and usually secondary restraints to buckle you in so you don't fall out. And then lastly, as we kind of discussed with the other one, you need the cables to lift the train up the hill, and also mechanisms to lock you into place so that the cables don't break and you fall back down into the station. The next coaster I'd like to discuss is Wonder Woman at Six Flags Magic Mountain, California. This one is really fun because it is a single rail coaster, which only 4 of those exist from Rocky Mountain Coaster, a coaster company. This coaster is a typical one that has the same G-forces, flight, weightlessness. However, it's on a single rail, which means that instead of having 2 wheels and areas connected 2 sides of a track, it's all connected, as you see in this picture, on one singular track. Makes it really fun as it's more smooth and whatnot. Obviously, as same with other coasters, you've had to use math and science to figure out the gravity and how to get the train throughout the whole entire track. It's also a 1 seat car per in a line instead of 2 on each side to balance it out properly. Some designs that haven't been made yet do try to have the practice of having 2, and we may see those in the future. But once again, this is a really fun coaster that I really enjoyed, and it really just shows the innovation of roller coasters nowadays. Due to time constraints, I'm just going to talk about X2 at Six Flags Magic Mountain, and probably won't get around to talking about Hagrid's at Islands of Adventure in Orlando. Now, X2 is an extremely unique coaster, as it was the first 4D coaster made. Now, as you can see in this photo that's coming up, is that it has 2 rails. You have the one to the right, and then a tiny one, thin one to the left where the gate is. This is unique because usually it has a total of 4 tracks, 2 on that side, 2 on the other, when usually you only have 2. And as you can tell in other roller coaster pictures, you just have 2 sets of wheels that are connected on each side. However, this 4-track design is useful as one is helping the roller coaster move around, and the other one is built for the seats to move it up and down. Now, these seats are unique as they are rotating. If you ever look at videos, or I might be able to show a quick clip on YouTube, but these seats will twist around. So as you're going up the lift hill, you're going backwards, laying on your back. But when you get to the top, the seats flip and you go forwards, and you're facing the ground. Throughout the whole entire ride, the seats continue to flip back and forth, and you're rotating 360 degrees. It's an amazing roller coaster, and it's one of my favorites just because of the twists and turns and the feeling, once again, of weightlessness and that zero-G feeling. And it's, once again, one of the most phenomenal coasters out there, as very few of them exist, and as this was the first one, and it attracts so many visitors a year at Six Flags. I just want to quickly talk about my love for Hagrid's. This is Hagrid's Motorbike Creatures. I've got the full name, but this is a super unique coaster. I don't have too much time to go into the depth of it, but it has 7 launches. It has a part that goes backwards where the track has to quickly switch over in seconds. It's phenomenal. It has about maybe 10 to 20 seconds for it to signal and then switch over for the part that just comes backwards, because the backwards part is just from gravity. It doesn't stop you at all. Then it has a part that the track switches down, and then you also launch forward at high speeds. Once again, this is an amazing coaster, and besides Velocicoaster, is probably my second or third favorite coaster. Definitely my second favorite at Islands of Adventure. It's also a really cool ride for Harry Potter fans as it has the Harry Potter theme and is just phenomenally laid out and is able to connect to the Harry Potter world. As you can tell, there are so many different coasters around the world. This, for example, is a roller coaster at Knott's Berry Farm that I've ridden. But in conclusion, roller coasters are able to take on many different forms and positions. They have the 4D spinning coasters, launch coasters, ones with lifts. They have 400-foot tall roller coasters at like Cedar Point and Six Flags Great Adventure. And these coasters are able to cater to a lot of people's likes and interest. Coasters are a phenomenal way to have fun, to get thrills, and also to meet new people. I know I've been able to make a lot of new friends online through joining roller coaster groups. This has been a passion of mine for a long time, and I love sharing it with others because I love people being able to understand coasters and to possibly someday have the same interest and love for me as I've been able to ride over 70 coasters, and hopefully we'll get to 100 soon. And just to get other people interested in enjoying such amazing technologies and entertainment built.